Hello and welcome to episode 103 of the MisanthroPod. I am Snipe, and as always, I am confusing Wib. Say hello.
What?
I'm confusing you. Say hello.
What are you doing?
I mean, you sound confused.
And I am also confusing Drummer Matt. Say hello.
What? Hello.
How are you lovely gentlemen doing today?
Fine. This is the tone we're going with.
How after 102 episodes are you even surprised?
This is the 103rd episode.
Yeah, we're currently doing the 103rd, but after 102 episodes...
Okay, fair.
Wow, okay. Because if I said after 103, someone would have rightfully accused me of being a time traveller.
I mean...
Again.
I don't know if they would.
You don't know that.
Are you alright, Matt?
Yeah, I just didn't think that this mathematical technicality was the hill we were all going to die on, but...
This is what we're doing, yeah.
Oh, I pick at least 6 hills to die on per day.
Yeah, and none of them are good.
Don't talk shit about my hills.
Don't talk shit about my goddamn mountains.
Anywho.
Snipe, are you doing okay?
Huh? Do you think I'm okay?
No.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. It's been a rough one. Anyway, there's been Warhammer's news.
Yes,
About those 40,000 Warhammers that we like so much.
Yes, we will quickly go through the stuff that's been revealed, because the new box set for 9th edition has had all of its goodies unveiled to us.
Just like Drummer Matt, that party we went to.
Yeah, when all of his goodies were unveiled. And strangely, they were both one half mechanical and one half very blue.
And made of resin.
I mean, these are plastic, but...
I mean, you do have to wash it before you use it.
Not afterwards, though.
No, never afterwards.
No, you let them stew. Okay, the Indomitus box is the 9th edition box, and it's probably going to cost £40 million.
Get paint on it, soak it in Dettol for a day.
But that's fine. Okay, let's just move on from this now. So the new box, we're not going to go through every little minutia of it, but we thought we'd just talk about it a little bit, because there's a load of new models unveiled. Like there's the new Primaris Captain, who's got a big shield with a dead bloke on it.
He looks like he forgot to put his lenses in.
You mean his contact lenses?
Yeah. You know, the contact lenses they had that are like this huge old, glass ones that you can only keep in for 15 minutes, otherwise you go blind.
You mean those sort of ones that like the old stage ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like they had in, Evil Dead.
Yeah. I will say that it's interesting to see them going heavy on the knight sort of aesthetic on them again.
Yeah.
Because Primaris throughout 8th were traditionally fairly plain.
Yeah, I did. They were more kind of tactical.
Yeah, I do have further thoughts about that I'll get to later.
Okay.
We also, the Primaris Lieutenant with a Volkite pistol, which is called a Neo-Volkite pistol, if I remember rightly.
Which I know Scarlet and Longfang would just be frothing at the mouth in joy about that.
There's a new Primaris Chaplain, who, just like the last Chaplain model, looks fucking great.
Yeah, I mean,
he's got
bird on a stick, it's all good.
Yeah, bird on a stick, fancy beating stick, that's what we like to see.
Half robot face. Blade Guard veterans and stuff, yeah, they were all shown before. There's the Blade Guard Ancient, who
he's got a skull, he's got half a skeleton on a stick, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, he's got a skeleton on a stick, and he's also holding a skeleton hand.
Okay, so I didn't fun. So you know how it's got the chain, and it's hanging, and he's holding it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that the hollow part in the middle of the chain was just see-through, so it looked like he had a really long, unusually skinny wrist that came into, like a metal hand, which is okay, I mean, it's an interesting silhouette,
yeah,
but I can't unsee it.
Also, the Blade Guard Ancient, actually just the Blade Guard in general, their mask, the face mask that they have on their version of their helmets really reminds me of some of the helmets that you get in the Blood Angels sprues and like on the Venerable Dreadnought kit. It reminds me of those. Also, the Blade Guard Ancient looks the most like a Stormcast Eternal that a Marine has, because he's got the same kind of robes.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a bit strange.
Can I ask a question about the skeleton hand?
You may.
So, skeletons, like, in your body, you know your body,
Yes.
your skeleton is held together by, like, all the juicy bits around the outside, right?
Yeah.
We are held together by our meat, it is true.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you wanted to get a bone hand that stays shape as a hand, you'd have to, like, thread
You
it
have to
together.
wire it.
So I
Yeah,
feel like
you
that's like a
thread it with
Space
wire.
Marine Scout project, like drilling holes down the length of, like, bones and then, like, threading them together, like making a necklace. And
Yeah,
then-
you know, honestly, like, in between, like, morning fucking, like, rituals and shit and playing video games, then, yeah, they've got to have something
It's
to
one
do.
of those nice little Easter eggs, because Warhammer players spend so often having to pin their models because they have inherent weaknesses in the construction.
Savage.
And yeah, that's what they had to do.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's canon, and if you disagree with it, you're wrong and bad.
We also have Eradicators who have...
Long-range melter guns.
Yeah, more people in Gravis armor too, so in the bulkier version. They're kind of fun.
Yeah.
Although I do think the melter rifles look way too much like just a regular melter gun, but big.
They really do. I think, like, silhouette-wise, they do need to change it up a bit just so it just looks different. Because when I first saw them, I was like, okay, like, just standard melter guns.
It's one of those things that'll be fine once, like, you know, because once you go, oh yeah, they're Primaris, so they're not just regular melter guns. But yeah, they're just from a... Usually they have a bit more of a distinction between the different kinds. Assault Intercessors and that, the bikes.
I hate bikes.
You don't
I love bikes, but I just don't like them in 40k for some reason. I mean, like, I don't mind, like, the White Scarves having them, because that's kind of their thing, and that's cool. But anytime I see any other chapter on bikes, I'm like,
So you don't... Is this like a design thing or just a thematic thing?
I think it's a little bit of both. It's just I'm not exactly sure I can articulate
What do you
why.
think of the new ones?
New
like,
ones
compared to the old ones?
are fine. It looks like a fucking... what do they call them? It's not a lawgiver. Because that's the handgun.
Is it
from Judge
Lawbringer?
Dredd. It's like the lawbringer. I don't know, it's like the fucking... The justice
Yeah, because it brings the
cycle.
law to people. It brings the judge, so it's bringing the law, because Judge Dredd is the law, as his popular catchphrase says.
Yeah, because he's a massive 40k fan.
When he's
you know,
like-
hence like the LORETM.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, no, it looks like a justice cycle.
Is that what, oh yeah, that is what they're called, isn't it?
I think so.
Maybe.
It's something silly like that.
People
I can't remember.
who have read Judge Dredd, don't tell us in the comments, because we'll
I
just
literally have a couple of Judge Dredd comics and I couldn't fucking tell you.
because we'll just look it up on the internet afterwards, so we'll already know by the time you hear this. Don't worry.
Yeah. Someone's going to say so anyway. Thank you, person in the comments who completely disregarded everything.
But I think we talked about those last time.
Yeah.
There's the new Necron Overlord model, who's he's like,
extra.
he's hench.
He's
a big boy, like, just...
Yeah.
You know how, like, Necrons, like, by the nature of being skeletons, are very
They
thin
were
and
always
spindly.
very shoulder heavy though.
Whereas these ones, like, they just look thick. Thick crons.
I have seen that art and I agree.
Yeah,
Very powerful.
And just he looks a bit bulkier as the Royal Warden.
Who looks
as
like
well.
he's posing for like Necrons of the Year calendar. And he's just like,
Readers Wardens.
Readers Wardens, yeah, there we go. Like a dimly lit like IKEA shelf in the background. Plasma Mancer is fucking cool.
No, it's
Plasmancer.
Plasmancer.
That looks like a typo. Wait. Okay, no, I just saw the A and my brain filled in.
Yeah, no.
It's a
Because
plasma,
it's silly.
sir.
Yeah. He is a Necron with no legs and an enormous chin.
It's Bruce Campbell.
It's Bruce Campbell after an industrial accident.
That's after he fell asleep in Evil Dead 2 with his legs in the pond. And he woke up and was like, ah! And then had a nap for like 12 hours. I do like the Cryptos rolls. They look very Bioshock to me.
I don't know
Big
if I see-
Daddy-esque.
I don't know if I see Bioshock, but they do look like something that could be very easily converted to not be a Necron.
You could make like you know how they have pariahs, which is kind of like a merging of a Necron and like a human, like a fleshy human beast.
Yeah, it's like
it's kind of like
humans with a pariah gene.
Yeah. It looks like you could do that, like, if your gene stealers ate a bunch of, like, pariahs, then you could make, like...
They do look a bit Hormagaunty with those
Yeah,
claws.
you see, and I'm kind of like, oh, that sounds interesting, but I don't have the time, money, or technical skill to do it.
You see, I'm looking at them and going, how could I make them into something for my grots? But I do that with everything.
You look at everything like that. Oh my goodness. Anyway, moving swiftly on. Okay, the Scorpec Lord is fucking... Oh, he has arrived.
I think we talked about him last time. He's another member of the Thick Crons.
Also, I love Scorpec destroyers. They're spindly stab boys.
There's the Plasma Sight, who...
You know what he is? It's like, you know when, like, you get your hand and you kind of crawl it around like it's a spider? Someone did that, but then they put, like, a little Necron hat on, like, the top of their wrist.
You know what it actually really reminds me of?
There's a Necron at the bottom of the garden, and its name is Wiggly Woo.
It did not remind me of that, but I'm glad that you're able to express yourself here.
Thank you. It helps. And that was very non-patronising. Thanks.
I know I'm brilliant at this, aren't I?
So good, yeah. You should write a book.
Legit, I have my entire life had a problem of sounding patronising when I don't intend to be.
I have lived with you for like 1,000,000 years, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, do you? Oh, you're very observant. Thank you.
You just are
anyway,
hurtful.
the plasma sight, that's done.
The plasma sight really reminds me of...
Wiggly woo!
Have you know when people do things in the style of John Blanche and like throw pieces together to make the real sort of like grimdark just amalgams of tech? Always ends up looking very Dune-esque.
Well, you mean kind of like the organised chaos kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it.
It reminds me of that, like that kind of thing. Like it would be, someone would make that for their like inquisitorial warband for like Inquisimunder or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just get that vibe.
I like the little scarab, the little duty.
There's the Canoptech Reanimator.
Combine harvester.
He's not a combine harvester.
No, it's one of those big spindly things called a harvester from Half-Life 2.
You mean the combine? I think they're called Striders?
Yeah, they're called Striders, but I like always think of them as combine harvesters, which is the funniest shit. Because then I think that they speak with a West Country accent, and it makes my day.
If anyone is either too young or not British enough, please go look up the song "I've Got a Brand New Combine Harvester" by the Wurzels. You will. Okay, I was going to say you won't regret it, but you will. But you'll have had your horizons expanded. So that's quite fun.
Whether you like it or not.
But yeah, that's cool. There's new scarabs,
little baby,
just a bit of a redesign, and the warriors that we saw last time also got their redesign. Yeah. And that's everything that's in the Indomitus box, which has got a shitload of stuff in it. Because I was on the stream and someone mentioned, was it stream or was it somewhere else? I can't remember now.
You've probably slept since then, maybe.
And someone mentioned it being like it's going to be like stupidly expensive for a starter box, but like I don't think these big boxes are really meant as starter boxes anymore, because I remember the first box that I had was the 3rd edition box set, and that just had in it a squad of 10 Space Marines, a land speeder, and 20 Dark Eldar warriors, and that was it.
Oh.
Whereas now they have this like wider ranging actual like small forces in them, and the actual starter boxes are the smaller versions of that. So it's sort of interesting how they've what we still think of as the starter box, because like, I don't blame anyone for thinking of them like that. Like they really aren't anymore, because the price has crept up and the stuff that's gone in them has got greater and greater. Like the sheer
I mean,
amount
honestly,
of it.
it's like it's been a better deal, and you get like a workable force.
Yeah, because I mean, what?
Because I remember like some of the older like starter kits, it was just like what was it? One with like Eldar, like it was just not like a legal force, and was nowhere near the points of the Marines that came with it. So I can't remember exactly.
I mean, yeah, that sort of stuff has happened quite frequently. So I think it was in 3rd edition where they had the battle forces. I think they're called. And these were like these square boxes, and I think they cost like £50 at the time, and they'd have like a force in them, and none of them would be like a workable force on their own, because I think every single one of them was missing an HQ choice.
Yeah, it was something silly like
and
that.
you always had stuff like that. And nowadays you actually do have like a functional force, especially considering how open 8th and presumably 9th is going to be. Because I presume they're going to take across that stuff into 9th, because
I hope so.
It's the best thing about 8th. That you can just build an army out of any old fucking shit. I love it.
And I do.
But yeah, moving on, there is the stuff that's not in the box that they also unveiled. And this is actually a thing I really wanted to talk about this for, which is what is everyone's opinion on the Invader ATV?
It's fine. It's the bat tank.
To me,
And
it looks like... Sorry, had you finished?
No, you go.
To me, it looks like... So the bikes from before...
Yeah.
They were having a race, but because they can't turn corners, because, I mean, look at them, they can't turn corners. They were trying to go around the corner, and they couldn't, and they just went into each other, and they're like, because they were going so fast, they kind of just friction welded themselves together. And then that's just... And then they were like,
pretending it was on purpose.
It's an interesting theory. Interesting theory.
Well, I think they're just the bat tank, and the Marine in the front is going to go fucking deaf because there is a goddamn Vulcan cannon behind him, and it's just like, if it's like...
It's a little known Primaris upgrade that they actually are all have like extremely calloused ear canals.
How soundproof are the helmets that they're in?
Well, I know that they can be used in like zero oxygen environments and stuff.
I think actually they are like pretty well insulated, so yeah.
Even then, there's going to be like the shake. So like, you know how old miners and stuff get white finger? He's going to get white head.
It does look like if they turn the thing, then the edge of the like
He's
shield,
gonna, like, crack him in the head.
the edge of the shield does look like it's going to crack him in the back of the head.
You just have to go, duck, and then whoop.
But the thing is, he can't hear it because it's so well insulated. Like Battle Brother, duck.
What?
Pang. That's the sound of ceramite getting fucking cracked in.
I do have a couple of like observations about it. One is that it looks remarkably like the old Orc Buggy model.
Maybe they reclaimed it.
Which I actually I think it would make you could make quite a fun orc conversion, and by orc conversion I mean I want one for my grots.
That's literally all you do lately.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But the other point is, so with the main box stuff, we've mostly seen things that have leaned more into the knightly aesthetic, like a lot of old regular Marines used to, and Primaris before now haven't really gone too much in, but they're leaning more heavily on that. But then stuff like this doesn't use it at all, and it gets into more of the modern space super soldier thing. So it almost feels sometimes like there's two divergent paths of Primaris Marines. The ones that go for the more like future soldier thing, that go for the tactical aesthetic.
And then there's like space warrior knights.
Yeah, and they're kind of... And I think old Marines threaded that line a little bit better of it not being so... Because all Marines have always been both of those things. Well, maybe slightly less so originally. They didn't lean on the night stuff quite as much, but you know what I mean.
For a long time, they've been like a bit of both, yeah.
Whereas I feel that there's some stuff that, like, if I saw that next to, say, the Blade Guard veterans, the ATV next to Blade Guard veterans, they don't necessarily look like they belong in the same army.
There's not a lot of unit cohesion. Or design cohesion.
I mean, you could totally do additions to the ATV to make it blend in with them.
Yeah, you know what I'd do? I'd green stuff like a
orc,
a wee flap under the belt, and then I'd have it blowing up, covering both of their faces, so they can't see A, where they're driving, and B, where they're shooting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm really good at stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. How does everyone else feel about that thing, about the separation between the tactical and the space knight thing?
I think they should, like, to be, like, the way I feel is that they literally don't have, like, there's a missing link there that they don't have. I think if they were, like, they went so hard with the Space Knight kind of aesthetic in the new box set that it's just, there's no middle point and it's a bit jarring. But that's just me.
That being said, the knight-looking ones would look fucking great as Dark Angels.
Yeah, they really
and
would.
The ATV thing you could totally get away with in a Ravenwing force. So all my complaining and pondering there is probably complete bollocks.
Yeah.
And it's just about like how someone does it themselves.
But also, maybe we should let Drummer Matt give the answer to the question you just asked instead of just asking me and then ignoring Drummer Matt.
Well, oh no, I think it's an interesting point. I hadn't even thought of it really, but now you've mentioned it, I was like, they almost look, like there's a missing link, like you said tonight, a missing link between the two that just doesn't quite. But then, if you just theme your army around one or the other, that's fine. Yeah.
But anyway, I have not yet fully decided how I feel about the ATV personally. I feel it's going to be one that I'll only fully get an opinion of when I see it in person.
Once you buy it and convert it.
Well, I was going to say, what I bet is that someone, potentially you would, potentially someone else, is going to make a really cool converted one, and that will sway me on it.
Yeah. What else we got? Oh, there's the Fire Strike servo turret. That's just a turret with a tech marine on it.
It's a Wayland Yutani turret from Firefly.
Yeah. It's a bit of a throwback to some of the old turrets. It looks a lot like the turrets that you had in the expansion for Space Crusade, actually.
It's fine.
It's fine.
I like how he has the vacuum cleaner stuck on his eye lens.
Well, he wanted to look inside it, and then it sucked onto his eye.
And he was just like, you know what, I'm just going to go with it. Also, the Locust Heavy Destroyers have the thickest thighs.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh!
They
Fucking crush my rib cage.
They are prime thick cron.
Beautiful.
There's the Canoptech Doomstalker that I absolutely love.
I love the Combine Harvester boy. The Combine Harvester 2.
It's so spindly and weird, I sort of want to make a Necron army that is made entirely out of them.
You know, I'm just going to say it, like, seeing your taste in miniatures and how you're like, this is fucking weird. I love it. I completely understand why you married me. It's like, oh god, she's got muscles in all the wrong places. I love it.
Before we move on, does anyone have a favourite model that's been shown off?
Combine Harvester.
Which one?
The last one we took. The
Canoptech Doomstalker.
That boy. And I like the Skull Pack, like stabby, crawly boys.
Yeah.
And the Wiggly Woo is quite fun.
What do you think, Matt?
I like the Plasmancer.
Plasmancer.
I like his long chin.
He does have a very long chin.
It's just it's just so excessive. Like, Necrons, like,
I'm sorry, something at 40k being excessive.
Well, yeah, but,
how
like,
dare you,
Necrons
sir?
don't have a sense of, like, they do things because presumably they have a reason. I feel like they don't really give you, like, oh, what shall I do today? Or let's wear this blue jacket. Or no, I feel like a yellow, like...
Okay, I need to draw a Necron in, like, a blue leather jacket. Being like, I wish I'd picked yellow.
I will say that the modern versions of Necrons, the, like, lords and things, retain basically all of their personalities from being Necron tier.
I only know, like, the old kind of lore where it was super eldritch and there was
is a Plasmancer some sort of lordy type thing then? So that would be or some sort of, like, higher up in the hierarchy type
I'm
thing.
too busy looking at those destroyers' thighs, I'm sorry.
Because the Plasmancer is the floaty boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he'll be...
Can you imagine him trying to eat soup? Can you imagine how impossible that'd be? Maybe he has, like, a little straw down his chin, so he just kind of, like, floats up the table and goes thunk.
That's what the, like, tubey bit coming from is where would sort of be his butt is with the spike on the end of it. It's just a straw that sucks it straight up into his butt.
Oh, so he doesn't even use his chin is purely ornamental?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
there's
a reason for it, but we just don't know what it is yet.
Okay, that's fair. But there's also his butt straw has a stabby part, so he can stab into cans of soup and just suck all the soupy juice out.
Yeah,
it's like the thing that Iris has in the third 90s Gamera movie, which is a point of reference that 5 people will get.
For me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although I will say the Plasmancer's chin, it does look like it's almost got a lid on the end of it, so he could take it off.
It's got hinges.
So it's like a pen, and it's got a lid, so he can take the end off and then write his. That's how he signs his name.
No. You know what it is?
Hands free.
It's an eyeliner pen. So like one side.
He's only got one eye.
It doesn't mean he can't line it.
Yeah, but like it's attached to his chin, so how can he line his own eye? Or
Well, no, it's got a head,
oh
he
no,
goes-
all the plasmancers work together and they're like, "Come, comrades, let us line each other's eyes."
Yeah, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. No, it's like, so, like, he pulls it off, and on one end it's got, like, the felt tip of the eye. On the other half, it has, like, the pencil. So, you know, he can go for, like, if he wants a double cat's eye, which is very in with the which was very in with the Necron tier. You can't prove me wrong because so little is fucking known about them. And then, like, you know, if he wants like a dark, smoky eye, like he's got going on there, he could just like, And then
I feel-
then he stabs soup cans with he butt.
I feel at a certain point we are just doing that thing where anyone who's listening to this, who might have just been listening and going like, I know what they're talking about. Oh yeah, they're talking about this model, and then we get to this point, and then we've made like 100 people go and look up the model just so they can figure out why we're wrong.
I mean, they're wrong because I'm right and I've decided I am.
My favourite is probably the Doomstalker. Just
The stabby leggy boy.
Because I don't know what it is. I like Necron models anyway, but I've never like pulled the trigger on like collecting a force or
Honestly,
anything.
because
But
like,
I
it's so
really-
much silver and I'm not interested.
Yeah, I just really like that in some of the new designs. They're just
they are
really
cool.
fun.
Also, I like how the Plasmancer has like dominoes hanging off him. Like, you know those little snap bracelets you get as a kid that you make where they'll all kind of like connect together? Like little elasticy ones that you make.
Okay, I don't, but I trust you know what you're talking about.
Sometimes,
That was your first mistake.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, for talking quickly about it, we sure did not talk quickly about it.
Yep, we're good at this.
Very-
Matthew, do you want to talk about what you have been up to for the last couple of weeks? What titans of media have you consumed?
How much porn have you watched?
Oh, I mean, too much.
Is there such a thing?
Apparently.
I mean, if you
Has your like your ceramite wee fallen off?
yeah, if you start building up like a callus, then that
That
shows
is
it's probably
actually
too
a
much.
thing.
I know
the
it is.
colloquial term is dead man's grip, where you like wank off so much,
Right.
where you wank off so much that you basically form a big callus on your dick, and it's like really hard to reach orgasm or ejaculate.
I like how you went instantly into like educator mode there. And was like, no, this is a real thing, and this is how it works. Like, okay, good. I was just making a flippant joke.
Masturbation is super, super healthy for you, but if you do it too much, you're gonna give yourself some dead man's grip, or like, you know, or I don't know what the like the
You just get sore. If nothing
yeah,
else.
just get sore, and it's like it's no good. I think it would lose its luster.
Just like your penis.
Yeah, which is fine.
But
Anyway.
apart from the porn, what have you been doing?
I finished the DLC of Zelda.
Good.
So
Did you enjoy it?
I did. It was not cheap. It was like £18, I think, 17 or 18
That's a
pounds.
problem with Nintendo
is
games;
like-
they never
yeah.
get on price.
And it probably wasn't worth it in terms of like gameplay length for that cost, but gameplay length for the entire thing plus the DLC over time, it's been definitely worth it. So I got such good value for money for the first one. Even though Zelda, if you buy it by itself, it's £60 still, which is insane for a game.
Yep. Well, actually, not nowadays because they'll charge you fucking everything and then
No.
DLC everything else. But
Yeah.
that's another story.
But yeah, so it's like I got the main game as a bundle with the console, so it wasn't that much. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when taken as a whole, it's definitely been worth the cost. If it's just by itself, it's borderline. There's not too much. There's a few more dungeons and things which are quite good fun. But yeah, I finished everything now except for collecting all the like 900 leaves that are scattered over the map, and I was like, well, I've already put in I think 140 hours into this. I can't be bothered to like go in and basically go up and down the whole map to find them. But if I just get a guide and go through them, I'm not going to feel like I've achieved anything anyway. So I can sort of square not getting those for now. I'll probably cave and go back for it at some point.
It reminds me of years and years and years ago, we were talking about those feathers in Assassin's Creed. And
Yeah.
you were like, I had to stop because I get so into collecting, it ruins my fucking life. And I was like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I haven't. There's a reason for the first. I've found few, but there's like a reason because when you collect these things, you can trade them in to expand your inventory slots. So up until a point, it is actually worth collecting them.
Yeah.
But I've collected
Well, I mean,
100 out
Good
of
on you.
900. And I was like, I've got enough inventory slots. There's no reason to go more than this. Okay, I can't. Let's go cold turkey for a bit.
But no, I mean, good on you. That's like, that's a tricky thing to do when you put it down. I'm proud of you.
But it's just a very good game. I mean, like I said before, it's not surprising news to anyone, I'm sure.
So, during your cooldown period, you've been playing Zelda. Masturbation joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really funny because Penis. See, he laughed.
Well, I watched a good a music documentary on the YouTube.
Oh.
It was about. I mean, it was originally on BBC, but it was on BBC like in 2011, and it's not on iPlayer or anywhere like that, and it is just on YouTube. I can't remember the actual title, what the extra title was, but it's about a musician called Sister Rosetta Tharpe, which no one has heard of, myself included. But she was one of the first. She started playing. She was like a soul singer started in the 30s, and she was one of the first musicians to start using like distortion on guitars. So there's like these videos of her, and she gets like. I think she died in like the 70s, but there's videos of her in like the late 50s and things. There's like a middle-aged to slightly elderly, like slightly large black woman with an electric guitar, absolutely shredding some solos, and it's amazing. And actually, properly, she was one of the various one of the inspirations and what's the word I'm looking for? Influences. That's the one for Elvis and Buddy Holly and all of these like big guitar players at the time. She was like the inspiration to a lot of those, and yet no one's heard of her.
Gee, I wonder why. Could be any reason.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. She. There's many reasons, all of which are shit.
Yeah.
But she was cool, and yeah. It's like an hour-long documentary just about her, and had some various clips and things, because she's obviously started early enough to be the influence to these people, but she was going until the 60s, so there was actually video footage and bits and bobs of her. She played a gig she was American, but she played a gig in the UK at a random disused train station in Manchester for some reason.
Okay.
I mean, we've all had gigs like that.
Yeah.
We did a gig at a train museum.
No, it was a bus museum.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry. It was the bus museum. You're right.
And it had an art exhibition of a load of shoes or something.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, this represents
shoes. It was a weird one.
It was fucking terrible, and I hated every fucking second of it because it was all conceptual modern art, and I don't like it.
But yeah, she's really cool, and this documentary is on YouTube, and I can't remember what it's called, but if you type in Sister Rosetta Tharpe, which is
how do you spell Tharpe?
Tharpe.
So like Thorpe, but Tharpe.
Yeah, Thorpe. But
it sounds how it's spelled.
Good.
Yes, honey.
Yeah, I can't remember what the documentary is called, but it's in like I think there's one of them where it had the whole documentary in one file, but it missed the first like 20 seconds, and then there's like a 4-part one where whoever's done it on YouTube just split it into 4 15 minutes things, and so that's the one I watched. And yeah, it's just really cool watching this like old-timey woman shred a guitar, like proper wailing solos. It's amazing. It's just like
that sounds life-changing.
Yeah. And like an amazing like soul voice as well over the top of it. Yeah, she's really cool, and no one knows who she is, which is, I mean, the reflection on the world, I guess. But let's not go too deep into that on this entertaining podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's all I've been doing, apart from I've just been setting up my desktop again, finally, in the new house. So
nice. You finally settled after fucking how many years?
Yeah. And the room that we've got, the computer room, was just full of like moving boxes and things for ages, but finally managed to carve out some space. And buying a desk as well was an issue in lockdown. I was like, I don't have a desk to unpack it to, but we've got one of those now, so we're all... Yeah, I'm going to reinstall Windows on it when my new SSD comes, and then back onto PC gaming, and I can stop talking about Nintendo games.
I mean,
like a massive Switch fanboy, which I actually am, but I like other games too. I'm looking forward to getting on the train simulator.
Fucking course. Okay.
I bought it like 6 months ago, and I haven't had time to play it.
He's been jonesing the whole time.
I don't know if I can mention it. Well, I can mention it, but I don't know if everyone, by the time this comes out, people will have missed it. Have you seen anything about this giant games bundle that
we got it.
is doing? Yeah, is
for
it not
racial
amazing?
equality.
Yeah.
Itch.io is doing a bundle for racial equality, which is a charity thing for racial equality, and it was originally 750 games. It is now over 1,000.
I think it's over 50. I think it's over 1,500 now. It's a ludicrous amount of games, and a lot of them are like, you know, very small indie experiments that someone was like, oh, let's mess about with this idea for 10 minutes and release it just to see.
But it is still I mean, A Night in the Woods is in there, which is a phenomenal that's worth $5 on its own, and it goes to a very worthy charity.
Yeah, as I say, it's worth donating $5 if there was no games in it, and then it's like exceedingly worth it for just Night in the Woods, and then you get another 1,499 games.
Which is pretty amazing. So get your asses over there. And
I'm not sure how long
it will not be on by the time this podcast goes out, because I believe at the time of recording, I think it's got like a day or two left.
Shit. Well, I have like retweeted it a bunch of stuff.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Do we? Because they're all download like copy.
You do need an itch.io account to basically keep hold of them.
Yeah. But like, once you've bought them, can you gift them away?
Well, I mean, they're presumably DRM free.
Yeah, they're DRM
so probably,
free.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if anyone goes through the list and sees a game that they like, if you make a donation to the same charitable cause and then send me a screenshot of that, you can have the game if you've missed the deal.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Is that legal?
I don't know, but it's for charity, right?
It's for charity, so who the fuck cares?
That's like one of those things where I'm like, this might be a crime. Not sure.
Well, I mean, F the cops.
I mean, it's not like a crime that matters, but you know.
No, and it's getting more money to the charities, so I'm happy to take that one.
Sometimes, when the law is unjust, it is your moral duty to break it, and to send people loads of games.
To be clear,
which I legally own and bought.
Yeah.
So, like, you know.
And you're, like, morally raising money for charity.
Yeah.
So, I don't see an issue here.
To be clear, as per YouTube's terms and service,
that was a joke.
Snipe and Weird does not advocate any kind of crimes, and anything you hear in this podcast or channel that would convince you otherwise is entirely meant as a joke.
Yeah, it's just a prank, bro.
It's satire.
It's satire. It's free speech.
Oh, I mean, I guess sometimes it pays to think about what you're going to say before you say them out loud. But anyway, moving on.
I mean, I honestly haven't gotten to that point in my life yet, and I don't think I will. So I think I'm good.
I will say I have played one of the games in the bundle so far, apart from Night in the Woods, which I've obviously played previously.
Borb?
It was Borb.
Oh,
I think it was
Borb was really good.
Borb the Burb.
Yeah, so it's like this big
That sounds
bird
amazing.
that's called Borb.
And it's just a round bird that you click on while some
like a browser game.
chill music plays, and it just says like Borb loves you, Borb thinks you're doing great.
Borb says smash unjust hierarchies.
Just
shit like that. You know, just really positive.
It's just
Borb says you deserve love.
It's a Borb motivational tool, I guess.
It's pretty good, actually.
So,
I feel pretty motivated.
Yeah, so that's my knowledge of that bundle so far.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to go through. I actually would really like to do a stream, sort of like going through sort of some of the lesser like played stuff, just to try and find some of the gems in it, because there was like pen and paper stuff in there as well, like stuff you can print out.
Yeah.
The
card games,
like card games and things like that.
Yeah, there's resources for making your own games, so there's Snipe packs and things. Oh, A Short Hike is one I've been recommended. That's one that's in there. That was a recommendation from that Chilled Out Games YouTube channel that I saw. It looks really cool. I've been meaning to get it anyway, and that's in it.
Rad. But yes, we should probably move on, considering that this is a bundle that you will not be able to buy by the time
unless you
goes live.
Jokingly message Drummer Matt, which he probably won't send you anything.
Yeah, definitely won't use YouTube's own services and Google's own services to share said game.
No,
I'm digging
that
a hole.
would be wrong.
Snipe, what have you been up to?
Well, nothing particularly new, because I've been having a rough couple of weeks. I've been playing a lot of The Long Dark, but I spoke about that a long time ago. It's still a very, very good game.
Has there been any updates to it since last we spoke?
I think that they've added certain things, so now you have to have a container if you want to melt snow.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
and like little bits like that.
Yeah, trying to like carry water with your hand is okay.
Well, the thing is, like, before you just get like a magical like 2-liter bottle that would you could just melt snow in it, apparently. So yeah, that's cool. But yeah, no, I've been enjoying that. I've been playing it on harder difficulties, just because it's interesting, and I keep getting followed by fucking wolves, which is not how wolves act, but it's a video game, so whatever. And I streamed it like really early this morning at like 4 a.m. because I was like, I will get to this, but I watched The Black Klansman, which is an amazing fucking movie, and I will get to that in a moment. Good. And I got drunk and had a piece of chocolate cake because I'm just really upset with everything in the world, and depression doesn't help either. And I literally just sat there throughout the last like half an hour. I was just fucking sobbing the whole fucking time. But like, and then I decided to like, no, I want to go stream The Long Dark, and a bunch of people came out and hung out with me, and it was really nice. And I got murdered by wolves, and I froze to death in my sleep, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played some Star Wars: The Old Republic, which is a Star Wars MMO that is free to play, but you can pay monthly for it, so it's not as egregiously like pushing like extra purchases on you. But no, I've been enjoying it. I've been playing that with Long Fang, played it on a couple of streams, and it's just cool. It's a BioWare RPG, and it doesn't really feel like an MMO when you're following the storylines, because all like the story, like, it's voice acted and like actually has like a concrete story. But then when you're wandering around and everything's like 3,000 times too large, and you see other people of like Count Dooku or like Kush do like fucking weed memes, and you're like, okay. But then you get some people, like, I think you get this in anything where there's like an RP element, where someone will come out like, my name is Joseph Nathaniel Punchblood the Third, and I'm a knight of the Old Republic, and Anakin, who isn't gonna be alive for a while, he gave me his lightsaber after he traveled back in time, but it's also a super special lightsaber that contains the soul of Palpatine. So yeah, I've literally seen Anakin Skywalker with umlauts over every vowel. I've seen Obi-Wan Kenobi with umlauts over every vowel. I've seen yeah, that literally, like, when Long Fang and I saw it, we were like, Anakin Skywalker. Like, what?
I should totally make Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau.
You should! Yes. Oh, it's canon, it's so good. But yeah, like it's... Oh, it is funny seeing all that kind of stuff. And then there's just someone called, like, Dank Kush or whatever, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, because I will say, like, yeah, because I've played a bit of it, nowhere near as much as you.
I played a lot, yeah.
And the storyline parts are just, very
you have,
BioWare.
Like, yeah, but then you have the little radial and everything.
But then you come out of it, and it's the most MMO.
And it's like, honestly, the MMO parts are pretty toss.
Because MMOs are, gameplay-wise, entirely toss.
I know, but, like, I understand WoW, and, like, you don't have auto-attacks. So if you right-click on a dude, it will auto-attack what's in slot 1, but only once. And then you have to keep button mashing, and I'm like, can't I just have, like, while I'm thinking of, what's procced? What do I need to do? Do I need to CC? Do I need to interrupt? What's going on? I'd like it if my lightsaber would just be, like bashing them. Even if it doesn't do much damage, just as long as I'm still doing something.
Is there not, like, an option to have like, an auto-attack?
Not that I've found. Okay. I've had a good look, but yeah. And it's like, so that's a bit annoying. But, like, the actual... and you also get, like you get, like, light side and dark side points, like Paragon and Renegade from Mass Effect. So, like, I started a Sith, but she's kind of, like... She's a begrudgingly does decent things Sith. And because she's like a Twi'lek and the Empire is hella racist, everyone's like, oh, alien, what are you doing here? So I'm just like a dick to everyone. Apart from like, because I'm playing a Sith sorcerer, and basically they send you to trick a captured Jedi that they've just been like pumping full of drugs and misinformation and just confusing him. They send you to befriend him and go get his gear. So I'm like, hey, I got your lightsaber and stuff. And he's like, thanks, why are you being so nice to me? And I'm like, it's a setup. The Sith are fucking using you. They fed you a bunch of lies, and they want you to go back and just massively misinform the Jedi. And he was like, oh, thanks? Okay. It's nice to meet a Sith who has a sense of morals. And I'm like, don't go that far, but thanks. Which is kind of nice, because you can just be the most evil fucking bastard.
Because I think Star Wars does sometimes suffer from the problem of that the Jedi are sort of allowed to be like
Dicks.
Yeah, they're allowed to be kind of nuanced. Of that, Jedi do range from being like paragons of good
and
to like just dickheads.
Yeah, they're like inquisitors.
They have, there's quite a wide range of how a Jedi can be interpreted, whereas like
Sith are kind of comedically like, it's like I went and saw my master and she was like, yes, apprentice, we'll have to do some evil things so I can report to the Dark Lords. And I'm like, fucking really? I was like, go collect the 4 rods of suffering, anguish, rage, and murder lust. And I'm like, are we the baddies? Like, it's so black and white evil, it's actually really funny.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love Star Wars.
I do
too. I'll be talking a lot about it in a moment. But
gee, that's not like you at all.
Not like me, but like one thing I really wish is that if the Sith did not call it the dark side.
If they just called it the Force, or like maybe they had another word for it. Like, I mean, Longfang was telling me about this quest because he, like, on his Jedi, where he was working with the Sith. And, the Jedi are like, oh, may this Force be with you. She, like, when she was, like, parting ways with him, she would say, may the Force serve you well. Which I think, something subtle like that, just do that. Just, like, make it so it's reflected in their language that they see the Force as a tool to obtain power and punish people they don't like. Whereas, like, the Jedi are like, no, the Force is... It's like they're a bit more hippie-ish and, like, a little bit less, like, self-interested about it. Which is, like, I think... I mean, why am I talking about Star Wars and subtlety? Darth Icky and Darth Sidious are fucking things. Like, what?
Darth Icky, I don't think ever became a thing.
I'm so glad that was suggested.
I think that was something that Lucas suggested for, I think it was The Force Awakens.
Well, I mean, didn't Vader have an apprentice called fucking Starkiller?
Yes, but that's also Luke's original name, so...
Yeah.
Like...
Skywalker is pretty silly.
Yeah, it's the Star Wars thing of that you've got one guy called, like...
Jeremy Moon Punch.
There's Jeremy Moon Punch and Flebo Spleem, and that's, like, 2 characters. Like, okay. Star Wars naming conventions are fantastic.
Yeah, and then you have, like, like Timothy Dameron. Yeah.
I didn't...
Yeah, it's a fantastic name. I'm doing amazing. Hi, everyone.
But yeah, I would like it, because I think it's, dark side stuff in a lot of Star Wars fiction does tend to suffer from the problem of that they're the bad guys.
And they're just the bad guys TM.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think it's tricky, but it is a lot more nuanced than that. But anyway, I really dig the storytelling, and I like how you just show up, and some people will just fucking piss because you're a Sith.
Just erupt piss from every orifice.
Just piss jettisoning out every orifice, and I'm like, please don't. Also, you get companions, and they do apparently have a romance system, but my Sith is just not. She's not interested in that.
You just have to wait till you find like a Trandoshan that you're into.
Ooh, I do have a Trandoshan. What's the word? A companion on my Jedi.
Ah.
And he's pretty cool. He's telling me about the scorekeeper and that's their deity and how, like, if you get captured alive, then the scorekeeper basically like clears your score and ignores you forever, and it's like the ultimate shame. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm learning a lot about culture and stuff.
I have got an important question though.
Yes.
Can you fuck a Gungan?
I haven't seen any Gungans at all.
That's just...
Like, no, I mean, honestly, I was hoping there'd be a playable race. Because, can you imagine? It is... Oh, God. It'd be bad.
Only the...
Maybe that's why they didn't put them in. Who knows?
I feel that trying to work Gungans into your game is just hard mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But no, honestly, I've been really enjoying it. You... Like talking to people, like you know how in Mass Effect the top right option tends to be the good one, the middle one is middling, and the bottom right is like evil or like nasty. That's not a thing in this. It literally shows you an icon if it's like you mouse over like one of the answers. So it's like, for argument's sake, say, go kill this village. and you can be like, no, I'm not doing that, and it'll have like the light side like logo when you hover over the not genocidal option,
Yeah.
and it'll have like a dark side thing, and then like your screen, it looks like a fucking glitch, but whatever. It like has like a vignette, like a soft fuzzy vignette of like either light blue or red, depending on what you've chosen. I've only taken one Sith, like one evil dark side, like conversation option. Which was, because with my sorcerer, I don't know how the story is for all the other Sith, but she was basically a slave who was captured, and they're like, yeah, no, there's a group of you who are slaves, and then there's like one guy called Fon who's like hot shit, and like the overseer thinks he's really good, and like thinks his farts smell like rose water or whatever. And like, basically just keeps sending us all to his death, and I was always the sarkiest fuck to him, so he's like, oh, you've returned, slave, and I'm like, hi, yeah. So I went and did that really that certain death kind of, like, task you did, so, you know, that you were too scared to send your little pet on. I hope that's okay, you know, like, really fucking riding him. And the last time you talk to him, you can just, like, really sass him super hard, but it gives you dark side points, and I was like, fuck it. Start as you mean to go on, fuck this guy.
Well, it's Mass Effect rules. There's a few things that were always worth getting,
like,
a few points of Renegade.
Like, oh, what was it, like, stabbing Kai Leng?
Yes.
That was always worth it. I never fucking, like, no, I don't care. Because I don't like you for what you've done. So, yeah, just fucking get him. But yeah, no, I really like that kind of system. I will say, I'm like, the resources are really hard to get to. Like, mailboxes are just barely anywhere. Like, bank storage, which you have to be a subscriber or pay to unlock, which is a bit shitty. Again, they're like nowhere.
How old is the game?
Oh, I don't know. Good few years old. But it's had like a few expansions and stuff. And also, it level scales you. So if you're in an area and you're like level 23 and it's a level 15 area, it scales you down to level 15.
Oh, nice.
So it's like, that's cool. I mean, like, you know, like, so Longfang and I can basically always quest together if it's like lower levels.
How long did it take WoW to do that?
About a decade. Yeah. But no, honestly, it's a lot of, if you like Star Wars, there's lots of little nods in there that aren't too egregious. And it's pretty good. Getting a bit more serious now. Black Clansmen. Phenomenal movie. I got that with my birthday money. Because I'm a little creature. I cannot change this. But yeah, so I watched it, like, and it's based on a true story, for anyone who doesn't know, about the first black, like, police officer in Colorado Springs County, I think, called Ron Stallworth, and basically he's like the token gentleman of color. You know what I mean? And like they just shove him straight into records. And from the off, I will say this movie is, it cuts deep. It's pretty unflinching, and it's very good at what it does. And it's also just really well written and really well acted, and just very entertaining. And like, so you know, he's working in records, and all these white cops come in, and they're like, hey, get me a file on this racist prison term for a black person. And he's like, and he just has to put up with it. And you see him putting up with all this shit. And he keeps saying to his chief, he's like, I want to be undercover. I want to go into like narcotics or something and be undercover because, you know, I'm black and I'm young and, you know, like that's where I want to be. And he's like, no. And, you know, you see kind of like, he just keeps getting this bullshit racist kind of garbage just constantly in the background, like just this horrible background radiation that he has to go through, you know, like any person of color. And he's like, one day he just gets fed up of it, and because like he has to infiltrate like a Black Power meeting. And he's mic'd up and everything, and he goes in and he's like, there's this really charismatic speaker who's speaking about like, yeah, no, it's talking about like all the suffering they have because of their skin color, and how they all like try to be white so they can appease people who will never be happy with them regardless of what they do. And it was really quite like moving, and like so like Ron starts getting into it and he's like, damn, actually, yeah, I get it. And then they're like, because like the coppers are like, oh yeah, they're talking about like fighting white people. They're obviously like terrorists. And he's like, I don't think that they'll do that. And then like, of course, every white person is like, no, they're absolutely super dangerous. And
this sounds like a very prescient movie.
It is. So, but there are a hell of a lot of really funny parts as well. But yeah, so. Ron?
I will say, would you mind not going too deep into it, because I want to watch this.
Okay, but yeah, and then then of course he infiltrates the KKK as a black guy, which is, oh my god, because racists are fucking morons.
Yes,
like the actual Ron Stallworth in his book was like, because like the Adam Driver's character Flip Zimmerman doesn't exist. The actual guy is in the book referred to simply as Chuck, which is a pseudonym. And was an undercover narcotics detective. And he's basically never given any, like, legit thing. Because, I mean, he's an undercover detective in narcotics, and he's also Jewish and helped a black guy infiltrate the KKK. So it's kind of dangerous for him.
Yeah, I can understand why some anonymity might be
so I think
there.
that's really cool of him. But, like, yeah, so then the infiltrate the KKK, and it kind of deals with a lot of, there's a point which... I thought it was just like, oh shit, because it shows you these horrible situations that black people go through. Even like, to this day they still go through it. Like, there's a cop who just keeps like screaming racial slurs at the guy. Like he like pulls over a bunch of black people and he starts like groping a lady. It's so it's quite gross, and like. And there's all this kind of shit, and then the guy just says something offhand to him one day, and in the office, and he just fucking leaps at him. And everyone's like, wow, way to overreact. And it's like, but you've seen him put up with bullshit just for like the first like half an hour of the movie. Not even talking about the life he would have led before this point. But yeah, and like, it's so well told, and it's honestly, like, I recommend it because it's like, if you don't know much about that kind of thing, like, about racism, it puts it across very well. I found I'm like, everyone's like had a little run in with like, I'm not going to say anyone like, no, I would never say I have had it as tough as a person of color or like a trans person or anything like that, but like everyone's had moments where they've been at least a little bit discriminated against, and to see that fucking sandblasting someone day after day, it really does go, shit, okay, like, I can walk away from this movie. I don't get that. But people live this every fucking day. And it's like, it's not preachy, and it was aggressively educational, and again, I use the term unflinching. And, it is, I will, like, forewarned, there is, like, kind of groping, a non-consensual groping. There's a fuckload of racial violence and racist language, like just KKK shit. It is gross, but like you can't. Oh my god! Like, and also the actors, like John David Washington, the guy who plays Ron. Oh my god, that guy. Not only can he act like the best of them, he is hot as fuck. I'm just like, oh god, there were so many hot people in this movie. Not the bad guys, because oh my god. But yeah, so like Adam Driver and like John David Washington, just break my neck. Please, just fucking stand on me. But yeah, it was so good. So yeah, highly recommend it. Make sure you've got the stones for it first, because it gets pretty intense. But honestly, if it didn't, it wouldn't be doing its job. So
what I want to see is how you're going to segue from this movie about racial injustice into the next movie you're going to talk about.
Well, I thought I'd put like my I thought I'd put Black Clansmen in the middle.
Yeah.
So there's kind of like talking about Star Wars, haha, fun, talking about something incredibly serious and quite depressing, and then talking about something just kind of weird.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, because it's a good way to structure things.
Yes.
So the last thing I did was I watched a movie called Deep Dark. Now, have you heard of that, Drummer Bum?
I don't think I have.
Okay, well, it's like, I hadn't heard of it either, and I was just aimlessly browsing through, I can't remember where I saw
Was
it.
it Netflix?
I think it was either Netflix or Prime Video. I think it was Netflix because I hate Prime Video.
Yeah, you can't aimlessly browse on there without like being like, oh, let's watch this. Oh no, I have to pay for this as well as my Prime account.
Yeah, it's... and the player's fucking shit.
Yeah.
And, like, they only have subtitles on, like, 40% of their movies, so it's like, well, I guess I'm not watching that then.
I quite like where I looked at a kaiju movie and it had the subtitles from a different version of the dub. So
Those two wildly
the
contrasting
subtitles
things.
didn't match with what they were saying at all. That was fun, and I was like, well, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. But yeah, Deep Dark is, it's kind of, it's a little bit of a horror movie, but it's also a little bit of like a dark comedy. I'm honestly, you figure it out from what I fucking tell you, because honestly, I don't know if I can do this movie justice, because every now and again, like, I was watching it, and then Wib would stop, lean over, looking at the TV, and just go, what the fuck am I looking at? And I'm like, dude, I've watched the whole thing, and I couldn't tell you. So, like, it follows this guy, I think his name's Oscar or something, I can't quite remember, because it's like, I literally watched it a couple of hours after we recorded the last podcast, so shit has happened, so I'm having trouble remembering. But yeah, the main character is a failed artist who, like, is obsessed with making wind chimes, and he sucks at it. And like, he's like, his mum's on his case, being like, hey, like, get a fucking job, and he's like, no, mom, my art is my job. And she's like, okay, then phone up your uncle, get him to send money over. And he's like, no, it's terrible. And he tries to, like, go to an art gallery that he's super into this art gallery owner, and he goes and tries and impresses her, and he just makes a fucking huge pig's ear of it. And he phones his uncle out of, like, sheer desperation, because, like, this is his last chance. And he's talking to the owner, the gallery owner, going, yeah, please give me one last chance, and if this doesn't work, I'll quit. And she's like, oh, good, okay. So he's like, okay. So he has, like, a month or something, or, like, 2 weeks, and he phones his uncle, and he's like, yeah, I'm in, like, a real pit. And he's like, oh, yeah, because he got, like, his uncle got famous, like, selling seashells or some shit, and he's a fucking arsehole. And, like, you know, so he's asking for tips on how to get out of this artistic rut, and he's like, oh, you know what, I'll let you rent my old studio where I got all my inspiration from. And it's like only like $2,000 a month. And he's like, oh, I don't have that much. And he's like, well, you better find it. And he's just a piece of shit. So he eventually goes in, and it is a shithole. Absolute fucking horrible. There's like a bare mattress on the ground. There's black mold everywhere. It's broken. It's just an absolute fucking trash fire. It's a hideous place. But it has, like, this picture of, like, a peacock on the wall. And, like, after a while, he kind of takes it off, and there's a little hole. And he's like, huh. Alright, so he's like, you know, he's desperately trying to get his mobiles done, and they all suck, and they're all terrible. And he's getting really frustrated, and there's, like, 2 days until, like, the exhibition, and he's just, like, freaking out. And, like, he's lying down on his mattress, and he sees, like, a little string come out of the hole in the wall with, like, a letter on it. And also hears a very, like, brief sound of a lady moaning. And he's like, huh. So he pulls it out, and as he pulls out this string with a bit of paper on it, you can hear the moaning get louder. So we all know what that's a metaphor for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sexy thing. And, like, and it's like, it's just a little like typed piece of paper, and it just says, I can help. And then another thing comes out, and it's like, here, use this. And then another string comes out, and more moaning as he's pulling this thing out, and like this weird little like fleshy ball comes out, and it's gross. It looks like a fucking eyeball or something. And he puts it on his mobile, and then he takes it to the thing, and everyone's like crying, and is like, this is beautiful. We need like 10 more. So he goes back, and like the hole's a little bigger, and like it starts talking to him in this sexy, sultry lady's voice, and it's like, hey, I'm glad I could help. And he's like, thank you.
You think he's all going to leave that? He's like, you rent my studio, it's $2,000 a month, but you can fuck it.
Interesting you say that. Because I was like, that's a fucking glory hole. If this movie ends with that guy having put his dick in that wall, yeah, no, he fucks the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay. And it's just, and like, you know, like, it's just so fucking weird. And like the building manager like really has a crush on him, so she like goes in to his house when he's out and like sniffs his shirts and stuff, and then like she hears like whispering coming from the hole, so she goes and has a look, and it like this fucking weird like alien flesh mouth jumps out and bites her in the eye. And like you never see her again. You're like, oh, okay.
I guess that happened.
Also, there is a scene where he's tasked with making a really big mobile. So the wall like is pushing out all these fucking weird fleshy things, and he takes that in, and everyone upon it being unveiled falls down and starts fucking. They all start fucking, and like the woman comes up. Well, there's just everyone is fucking. And she's like, wow, you did really well. You've just sold this for like $30 million or some ridiculous price. And he's like, shit, to who? And she gestures and the camera turns, and it's just this guy like raw dogging this woman behind the sofa. Like, oh, to that guy. And he's like, oh, nice. And then he goes in and he's like, oh my God, you wouldn't believe what happened. And she's like, orgy? And he's like, yeah, weird. How did you know that? It is so fucking strange.
I'm just going to say, I'm really unmoored because you've just used pronouns for like 3 characters and just said she, so I'm not sure who's who at this point.
Okay, the wall is stuck there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the wall is the one who said, or it said who went, oh, it was an orgy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like the gallery owner was like, oh yeah,
Gallery owner.
sold
Okay,
to
you
that
did not
guy.
introduce gallery owner.
I did, but okay. But no, yeah. And so and it's so fucking bizarre. And like there's like an angry guy who like gets his art dumped in favor of the main characters, and like he like sneaks up to his house and just sees him just fucking the wall, like literally just fucking the wall, and he's like, what? That's unexpected.
I mean, sometimes your house is sexy. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's weird, but yeah, it is
Does it end
gory.
by him putting his entire body in the fuckhole?
No.
Huh.
No, it doesn't. But yeah, and like you find out the walls help like loads of other famous like artists, like musicians and stuff, you know, and it's like, oh yeah, like, you know, the fucking guy from the Doors, what's his fucking Jim Dawes?
Jim Morrison.
No, Jim Dawes,
Jim Dawes.
Yeah.
Jim Dawes.
Jim Dawes.
Jim Dawes.
It's Jim Morrison, isn't it?
That's,
I'm not
yeah,
getting that.
yeah.
Right.
That's what he called it, the Doors, because it was a reference to the wall that he fucked.
He fucked a door.
He fucked a door and then like changed his name from Jim Dawes to
George Dawes.
George Dawes. But yeah, no, fucking insanely bizarre movie. I'm glad I watched it because it was so fucking weird. But oh my god!
So is like a proper like B movie low budget thing, or was it like well made?
It was pretty decently made. I'd say you could tell it didn't have a massive budget, but it worked very well within the confines of its budget. So, but yeah, oh my god, so freaking weird. So yes, that's basically all I've been up to. Watching grown men fuck walls.
As you do.
As you do. Wibble it. Just a little bit. What have you been up to?
Well, I have come here today to conclude my my discussion.
It's not going to end here.
It is not. It's not. It never will.
Well, no, it does end because I've run out of the thing that I'm talking about.
Then it is paused.
It is paused until more of it is released, I guess. But I finished watching the rest of the TV versions of Star Wars.
Oh, the Star Wars.
Unless, of course, Disney Plus decides to put on the old Ewoks or Droids cartoons on their service, which they are cowards and so haven't currently.
I'm sorry, I've just realised. Luke Skywalker, George Lucas.
What?
His last name, Luke. He's a Mary Sue. Oh my god, all the movies are a lie. I mean, like, to be fair, like, I think Luke Skywalker is everyone's favourite himbo.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, have you seen those photoshops where someone photoshopped, like, Mark Hamill in the old, like, Star Wars movies to be, like, a lady?
Oh, yeah, well,
and
as Lady Luke. I can't remember if they gave a specific name.
Oh, I don't know. Like, Lucy Skywalker or something. And I'm like, damn, she is gorgeous. I saw someone trying to make Kylie Ren, and it just did not work. Because it's like, yeah, but all you do with Adam Driver is, like, make his hair a little bit longer, give him small boobas, and that's basically what Kylo Femme would look like. I know, because I've drawn her. She's magnificent.
Okay.
Kylo Femme is excellent.
Thank
well,
you.
To talk
I came
about,
up with that myself. Copyright me.
To talk about canon Star Wars stuff.
Excuse you.
I finished watching Star Wars Rebels, which, to use a very tortured descriptor, I would describe as the American Idiot of Star Wars TV shows.
So it's got the best overall, like collection of episodes.
Yes, because you are familiar with my way of referring to American Idiot.
Their best album, but that doesn't contain their best songs.
Yes, I have long maintained that of Green Day's albums, American Idiot is their most consistently good album, but it doesn't contain their best songs. So the overall quality is, like, on average, the highest. If you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Even though it's, whatever. And this is kind of like that. So, like, Rebels never quite gets to the height of, like, the best bits of Clone Wars. Never quite gets to that point. But it's consistently quite good all the way through. So I can absolutely say it is definitely worth watching. I think it's 4 seasons of it, and it kind of comes to, like, quite a conclusive end. Obviously, I can't remember how much I said about it last time, but it's like, focuses around the origins of the rebellion, like it kind of forming, sort of ties in a bit to things like Rogue One. So, like, Saw Gerrera shows up in that. I mean, he shows up in Clone Wars too, but, much younger.
Clone Wars 2?
Yes, the new batch.
The new batch.
But
like Clone Hard with a vengeance.
And yeah, you have multiple characters show up from the Clone Wars to sort of the point where you sort of have to watch the Clone Wars before watching Rebels to get the most out of it, because lots of characters and things kind of built upon, like, a couple of clones do show up. Rex becomes, like, one of the, like, part of the main group for a while. There was also giant wolves that are rad as shit.
I love them. They are perfect.
You can ride them around like Fenrisian wolves. They're called loaf wolves, and they're great.
Loaf wolves, like
Loaf.
the bread.
As in the planet that they're on, called Lothal.
Lothal.
Loth.
Loaf.
Okay.
I want a bread wolf.
Okay.
Yeah, I want you to draw me a bread wolf.
I am a bread wolf.
There is a picture.
I'm so full of carbohydrates.
There is a picture of, like, Doge, but as a loaf. So
I think you mean dough.
Okay. But yes, Rebels is quite good. I can definitely recommend it. I will say it's weird, sort of spindly character design you never quite get used to, because some just look really weird, but it's cool. I also watched through Star Wars Resistance, or more accurately, I watched the first season of it because the second season isn't on Disney Plus for some reason.
Does this particular series happen to have any rising stars that happen to be wolves that are needing some attention? Some loaf wolves?
No.
Not in the
No.
not in the yeast.
Let's not do this. It's way too late in the day for me to deal with any of this.
Okay.
Um,
It's fucking 8 p.m.
yes, it's already too late for it.
Anytime.
I did forget to mention about Rebels. Steve Bloom voices one of the main characters. He voices Zeb, I believe. Who's Zeb or Zev? That's already fallen out my head. Once I've watched to the end of a series and I know there's not going to be any more of it, I apparently just dump my long-term memory of like character names or something.
Maybe don't do that. It's weird.
But because he does a shitload of like incidental voices for like just little walk-on bits. However, no one asks him to do a different voice, so it's just Steve Bloom as half of the fucking Empire. Like every time a stormtrooper is on screen, it's like him. Or like a random Imperial officer, it's him all the time. It's an empire of Steve Blooms. It's really
Steve
weird.
Bloom really does only have like the Steve Bloom voice.
He can do other voices. He does other voices. The character that he plays doesn't sound like him.
But like no one really ever asks him to.
That's the thing. He did in this. So I've heard him do lots of different voices, but like he just did his normal voice for so much of it. It was really weird. But yeah, Star Wars Resistance. Only first season is on Disney Plus. It's a bit of a step down from the other series, partially because the stakes are so monumentally low to begin with. It's just... Okay, the closest thing I can compare the main character to, he's like Gary Goodspeed from Final Space.
Oh, season 1 or season 2?
Season 1.
Oh.
Where he's annoying. He's a bit like that. He's not quite as bad as Gary, but he's also not as competent or likable.
So, like, on a scale from, like, Gary Goodspeed to, like...
I can't help you, I don't know what the scale is.
BB-8.
Okay. Well, BB-8's in Resistance, so...
Okay, but yeah, this is the scale.
Okay.
So the scale is...
You've already forgot.
No! Gary Goodspeed. Gary Go Fast and BB-8.
Okay.
BB-8 being the best and Gary Goodspeed being the most annoying. Where does he sit?
I mean... on this bizarre metric you have suddenly invented.
I need to know.
I don't know. He's like 70% of the way to Gary.
Oof. Okay.
But isn't quite as competent as Gary. So the fact that he is constantly fucking up at a certain point just becomes really annoying.
Yeah. Fair. Did you guys ever get this thing when you were a kid where like I had to stop watching The Simpsons because it would make me shake with rage at how stupid Homer was, and it made me so mad that I couldn't watch it.
I got that with Mr. Bean. I can't watch Mr. Bean.
I gotcha.
I don't get that, but I do get that with characters. I used to have it like as a kid when bad and embarrassing things would happen to characters. I would basically possess far too much empathy for them, and I would just not be able to watch it. It would make me feel so bad to watch it.
Yeah, same. Like the whole like cringe stuff.
Yeah.
It made me physically hurt. But yeah, I just wanted to see if I was just this irrationally furious child. I mean, I probably
was
anyway.
too, yeah.
I still am.
These things don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Exactly.
No, and you say irrationally, like, we've heard about your childhood. I'm not sure it was irrational.
You know what? That's
Also
a fair point.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
But anyway...
This can be used to excuse all of my poor behaviour. No, I'm joking.
But yeah, so Star Wars Resistance, you're basically based around this one character who is picked by Poe Dameron to be a spy based on literally nothing.
Me!
And
I'd be a great spy. Look, ask me something, like, and I'll pretend to be Drummer Matt.
Is your name... Okay. I'm going to get back to the rough synopsis of the show now.
Yeah, now everyone's going to be like, shit, did Drummer Matt just talk twice at the same time? Yeah.
He's always talking about his cum.
He won't shut up about his cum.
Anyway...
Sorry, Drummer, I've talked about your dick and your cum.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
Anyway.
Yeah, I've gone Troppo the Heat.
Anyway.
I think that should be the title of the podcast.
Just anyway.
No.
What?
Matt's dick and all balls. We already had one about Will Smith sticking balls.
Yeah, it'll probably get us demonetised. I ain't about that. It's about this one guy, Kaz, who, he's picked for no good reason.
He's like eeny, meeny, miny, po.
He's like a pretty good pilot, but yeah, he gets picked to be a spy on this old refueling station that has starfighter racers on it. And he goes there, gets put undercover as like a mechanic. He doesn't know how to be a mechanic, so he basically has to learn, thus increasing his amount of incompetence.
I get it. Poe hates him and wants him dead, so he sent him off to be a fucking covert operative with no training whatsoever, because he's like, haha, check out this dipshit.
Now, over time, it does kind of... so the basic thing is really kind of like low level, because it's just him supposed to be spying and like looking out for people of the First Order on this place and just kind of getting into misadventures. And it's a lot more comedic than the other ones. She's not good or bad, it's just its tone is much more conventional kids show. So it's not quite as engaging as an adult watching it as the Clone Wars or Rebels were. However, it gets better over time, but it has a couple of problems with it, which is one, these low stakes make it kind of hard to care about a lot of things coming in from the other shows, which is not inherently a bad thing about the show per se, but just when watched as a successor to some other shows, because it is just some guy putzing around a station where like half the people on it think he's a wanker.
Wow.
The other one is that basically the highest level antagonist that appears in it is Captain Phasma. It is actually a cool thing that when a character from the movie shows up, which happens a couple of times, they are voiced by the actor.
Cool. I do think that's really cool. Has there been any difficulty in transitioning into medium?
They look pretty good.
No, I mean vocally.
Vocally,
because hey, remember when people were like, "Hey, Peter Dinklage can act," and then it turned out he couldn't.
Certainly not in Destiny. Not too bad. Poe's not. It's hard to tell. Poe was a bit flat, but also he wasn't working. He didn't have much to work with either.
Yeah.
And I don't think it helps that the animation style does not lend itself to particularly expressive things, so that means that the vocal performances have to be particularly good to overwrite the fact that the physical acting isn't as good as you'd sort of like.
Yeah.
But yeah, the highest level sort of antagonist you have is a couple of appearances of Phasma,
at least she's being used,
and some people of her level, which means that the highest level people you're encountering is a nothing character from the sequel trilogy.
Yeah. Is Kylo Ren in it?
No.
He is.
Why would he be in it? I've told you, Phasma is the highest level antagonist that you're dealing with.
Well, I mean, he's not really an antagonist. He's just my boyfriend, but he doesn't know it yet.
He is 100% one of the main antagonists of the entire sequel trilogy.
Who needs a big cuddle?
I mean, yes, but
God, that boy needs a hug.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, no, it doesn't get to those heights. So
is Rey in it?
No. Like I'm saying, it's literally Phasma is the most okay, I guess Poe's in it. He's the only kind of really important character
Finn
that shows
in
up. Finn is not in it.
But they're boyfriends.
It's set before the first movie. Well, okay, the first movie actually occurs during the last handful of episodes.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, it's a weird one.
BB-8's in it.
Yes, as a primary character for most of it.
I love the bit.
Who, just disappears, for the last few bits, how most of the cast disappears from the Clone Wars for the last handful of episodes.
Yeah.
So, oh shit, we gotta go be here in Revenge of the Sith.
I heard a really cool thing from Jenny Nicholson. If you're not following her, on YouTube, you should be. She's amazing. Where she was, talking about how she wanted to insert a BB-8 story, and she was talking about how she headcanons that BB-8, in this comic, will be staring at Poe Dameron's ear, because BB-8 thinks that that's a human's face, and that Poe Dameron has two of them. So he asks, for help with piloting, and then it just zooms into BB-8's like lens, and then it's like all this magical bullshit, and then he sees Poe turn around, and it's just an entire page of an ear, and it's like, hey buddy, could you help me out here? And then like, you know, it zooms in on the ear for like another page, and then BB-8 does the bip 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 bip, and then you just see a gigantic ear going, thanks buddy. And then it goes back to the story completely unmentioned. And I'm like, why isn't she actually writing for Star Wars? She gets it! I
will say there was one bit in Resistance that just really made me inwardly groan. Yeah. Which is that they introduce another droid who's like a BB unit, but
CBBs.
Is like CV something, I think, or
curriculum vitae.
So they don't have the same prefix, but they refer to them as rollies anyway. Those type of astromechs that roll around like that. They make pains to establish that this one is a she, and that BB-8 is a he, and that they refer to the like they gain like a friendship and kind of refer to them as like lovebirds and stuff, and it's like, how did you manage to heteronormative droids?
The fucking straights are at it again.
Like,
you can fuck droids.
Yes, you can. It is established in Solo. Yes, yeah. It is 100% established that droid fucking is a thing in the Star Wars universe.
Lando fucked a droid.
I don't know if he fucked a droid, but his droid thought about it.
What, thought about fucking him?
Yeah.
Considered it? Or was it like, yeah, that'd be cool?
He's not her type.
Okay, fair. But you can. Look at me going full educated mode. It's like, hi everyone. You can fuck droids. Thank you.
Yes. But yeah, so Resistance isn't super amazing, but it's not terrible, but it just doesn't quite reach the heights of the other ones. But to be fair, the Clone Wars first couple of seasons are just kind of Planet of the Week sort of things, you know, so it didn't start off hugely strong either. It just got really good as time went on. And this could do that as well. Like I say, actually, no, wait. I think the second season was the last season, and that's already out. So, oh god, okay. So who knows? Who knows if that second season's any good? Put it on Disney Plus. Don't know why it isn't Disney. You own the rights. Stop being dickheads.
Well, I mean, they're probably not going to.
They're probably not going to. Disney have made a career off being dickheads.
Yeah.
But I also watched a phenomenal television show, which was The Mandalorian.
Ooh, yes.
Heard good things, ain't seen it.
The Mandalorian also fucking great.
Oh my god, Baby Yoda is... I thought I'd be sick of it, but I fucking love that little dude so much. Oh, it's like the amount of times Wib would just... I'd hear a squeal behind me, and I'd turn around, and he'd be like, the baby, look! And then he'd rewind it, and it'd be like little Baby Yoda, like, having, like, some soup.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh... Precious baby.
I expected after like last year when it came on like American Disney Plus and
everyone was a jerk and spoiled it for
everyone spoiled everything.
Yeah.
I expected to just be like not affected by Baby Yoda, to just be like, it's cute, yeah, but like and just enjoy the thing. But then watching it, oh my god, that thing is so fucking adorable.
I know.
It is so adorable. I love it so much.
The baboon.
I would literally die for Baby Yoda.
You don't have a choice.
I would kill for Baby Yoda.
You don't.
Baby Yoda needs to ask me to kill.
Please ask me to kill. Hi there, YouTube. That was what we call satire or a joke. Please don't sue.
The Mandalorian is it. So, you know how television these days tends to really lean on, like, serialized things?
Now I'm hungry for cereal, thanks.
So, even things that traditionally weren't before would still have, like, an overarching narrative that they would be aiming towards, like Picard was a good example, that, you know, and Discovery, whereas Star Trek was not previously... Although it did have things like DS9 that did lean hard on serialization, they'd still have like just, we're just going to have this random episode in a casino or whatever. Whereas Discovery and Picard didn't really do that because they just had these like set amount of episodes to tell a complete story. And so they kind of did like that, which led to, you know, some people didn't like as much. The Mandalorian kind of straddles the line a bit of what it does is it has a couple of episodes that establish the premise. Then, like, I think there's only 8 episodes. And then there's, like, 3 or 4 episodes that's just kind of the Mandalorian putzing around the universe. I don't know why. Where have I got the term putzing from? I've used it twice in this podcast.
You probably heard it from a TV show.
Possibly.
Television is the ultimate insidious butthole.
But he's just kind of
Darth insidious butthole.
Darth butthole.
But yeah, just adventuring around the universe for a handful of episodes, gathering bits and pieces that would then all become relevant in the last couple of episodes for the finale. So it means that there's like 3 episodes of it that you can watch like completely in isolation, of just little episodes of Mandalorian goes place, has a little adventure, and then leaves at the end of the episode. Which works really well because it's just a space western. Like right down to the presentation and the music and everything. It's just
nice.
It's just fucking it's really good. Like it's one of those things where you sit there and you go, this was like in production at the same time as The Rise of Skywalker. How? This is so much better.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Well, I mean, like, The Rise of Skywalker was basically a spite project, but okay.
it was a lot of different weird plates in the air with that one.
A lot of toys thrown out of prams.
Yeah, but I don't want to speak about that. I want to speak about the good thing. Because seriously, watch The Mandalorian.
Space Western!
It is so good.
Fucking love it.
Lots of cool things like you get to see in live action. Well, it's mostly CGI, but you know, you get to see an IG droid like fighting in its kind of weird methodical way, which is cool. Even some subtle redesigns of things. Like actually, speaking about Trandoshans do show up, and they've kind of changed a bit so they don't look quite as goofy as Bosk.
They do kind of look goofy because they've got really like bulgy eyes that look very silly.
Yeah, but they toned that down a lot in this version.
I'm just saying, like, you know, from the ones I've encountered.
Yeah. The ones in like Old Republic and stuff are still based very heavily on Bosk,
they've got like the big eyes,
Yeah.
and I mean they're cool. I like that. I like the little dino like horn ears. They're very cool.
But yeah, it's just super fucking good. It's funny when it's trying to be funny. It's got a lot of heart when it wants to have heart.
And the baby is the cutest fucking thing in the world.
Yeah, the characters are great. Set design's great. Just really, really cool. And like little segments where you're like, I didn't know I wanted to see this, but like Mandalorian wielding a minigun, like
Ain't got time.
like what? Well, like you know, zooming around on a jetpack. Not the Mandalorian, a Mandalorian.
Cool.
You also
apparently
see
there's an armor smith woman who is just me. Or apparently there is a woman in there that is just me.
yeah, she's the blacksmith Mandalorian who wears like a more archaic looking mask that has like a fur kind of thing around her neck.
Okay, I'm loving it.
And you see her in one fight where she wields a hammer.
Love her.
And she's literally shattering stormtroopers like face plates. It looks so fucking cool.
Yeah, no, I love her so much, and I'm honoured.
It's just like because it's like not based, though the Force does come into it in certain ways. It's kind of separated from that whole side of things. And I will not spoil anything, but one of the final shots of it contains a thing that I never ever thought we'd ever see in a live action Star Wars thing.
Teletubbies.
Yeah, sure, let's go with that.
Yeah, I knew there were aliens.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. It's super fucking good. If for some reason you haven't
This
watched
just
it,
in, The Mandalorian,
Yeah.
pretty good.
it was one of those things where I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did.
Yeah, no.
Like, I knew it was going to be
always
good.
anytime someone hypes something, I kind of instantly go, I don't want to see it, because then it might be awkward if I think it's shit.
But yeah, no, it's not crazy good. Watch it. Apart from that, I've been playing a bit of Subnautica.
Oh, that's
I have played video games.
The ocean
Unless
game.
Which I can't remember if I...
You were streaming it and you were like shouting at dog sharks or something? Dogfish? And you were like chasing them around, like swimming after them with knives? And being very animated and cranky about it.
Well, I was streaming, dear. I was putting on a show for the people at home.
Yeah, I know, but I just...
I'm sorry. Yes, I was getting quite animated.
Apparently, did you know that you had a problem with like being patronised? Because it's news to me. absolute fucking bacon
Yeah,
rind.
I can't remember if I spoke about this in the podcast previously, so if in case I have, I won't go into much detail.
You have.
But basically, it's a survival game where you're in
Underwater
the ocean.
stabby game. It's like the Long Dark, but in the sea.
A little bit, yeah. Except you're on an alien planet and you're trying to find and you're trying to survive and gradually assemble
Are
like a
there
base and build submarines and stuff.
Are there sea bears?
Do you mean like you say sea bears? Do you mean like water bears?
No, I mean bears
Like
that live in the
tardigrades?
ocean.
I've not encountered anything that would fit that. There is like poison manatees.
Are they
yes.
mean? Are they angry?
There's like
Because I like manatees. They're very fun and derpy and cute.
they spit out poison out of their giant bulbous butts if you get too close to them.
I mean,
'cause
a
they get scared.
lot of people do. I mean, you approach somebody and be like, "Hey, you drop your keys." They'll just like poison. Just
It is known to
sulfuric
happen.
acid just firing out of their ass, and you're like, "Okay, I guess this is my car now."
But yes,
Thanks,
the people,
Brenda."
the fish you probably heard me shouting at is there's like the earliest kind of rank of carnivore you encounter are these like long,
Dark
I'm trying to think of like what
carpet fish.
they're these long fish that have like a long snout with like they almost look like the design.
Seahorse,
They kind of remind me of some of the kaiju from Pacific Rim, like in the way their head's shaped.
octopus,
No,
shark.
they're kind of like a shark. Okay,
Okay, flat shark.
they're not flat at all.
Needle nose shark.
Okay, stop saying words.
I just want to be right.
You won't because it's not a real thing.
You don't know that. The ocean is like so unexplored. You don't know those things don't
Okay,
exist.
okay. I'm trying to describe this quickly so we can move on.
Yeah. So it's a
But what you
it's one
probably
of those
heard me-
dongfish.
What you probably heard me is that the area where my like starting thing is has got a slightly higher than usual amount of these predators in. So sometimes I'll just go like pop out of my base, like my underwater base that I've built. And I'll like go to pick an underwater mushroom, and then one of these sharks will try and bite my fucking arse cheek off, and so I pull out a knife, and I'm like, "Fucking, you will run!" as I chase after it with a knife.
Somehow these things can run as well. That's really spooky.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
They've got sea legs. Don't
Yes.
Google those. They're terrifying. They're like milk teeth, but they're sea legs.
Okay, but yes. It's probably quite a good game. I enjoy it a lot, and I've been trying to get more into it again.
I would have gotten into it, but I remember we tried to stream it once, and I got really motion sick.
We tried to make a video on it.
That was it. Yeah.
and you couldn't deal with it because it gave you motion sickness.
Yeah, and I was like, shit. Guess I'll just die. And so I
But
did.
it's fine. I think you might be okay with it because I think it was actually due with the FOV.
Yeah, they have updated it, like for that kind
And
of
I
stuff.
think
so-
when we played it, like I might be wrong. Either we didn't notice it, or or it didn't have an FOV slider at that. Whereas now you can pull it up to the max is 90, but to be fair, that's like pretty standard.
90, 100 is about, yeah.
So you might be okay with it now. Although I do know
I'll
that
have to like prepare for a day where I'm like, yeah, is it alright if I get really unwell for like 5 hours?
But I do know it does still affect some people like that because a couple of people did say on their stream that affects them. But apparently some DLC for it where it's all like icy as well.
Ooh.
So I might try that at some point, like once I've sort of had my fill of the main game. But it's quite good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the video game I played, and everything else I've done is
the
just
one
watch
video
Star
game.
Wars.
I mean, I've played Star Wars,
Yeah, so it's a very Star Wars heavy meta we're
Yeah.
going with today.
yeah.
Um,
Which is fine.
Yeah.
I like Star Wars.
but that is me done. So Matthew,
Yes.
my dear friend,
Yes.
what
Is
question?
it time for me to ask Snipe what the email address is?
It is. No, that's not it. That's the
At
noise.
gmail.com.
It's not dial-up modem noise at gmail.com. What is the email address that people should send questions to?
I could shout it in binary.
No, I want you to say it in normal human words.
Morse code?
No, normal human words.
Sign language.
That's not words.
It is.
Well, not that can be perceived via an audio format.
Actually, you could. If you had a strong enough microphone, you could probably hear the swooshes and stuff.
Yeah, you'd be able to hear it, but I think just deciphering it would be quite difficult. Stop trying to get past this and just say the email address for the questions.
Only drummer Matt at snipeandweb@gmail.com.
Yep, you got
Yes.
You shits.
Okay.
That I hate.
it. And what questions have been sent in to us?
Well, first up, just related to that, there someone, and I can't remember which one of the people because I didn't write it down because it wasn't that relevant, but
Wow.
it's relevant to this. Someone wrote in and said, "This is the third attempt of emailing this because the email address is stupid." I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a joke that's gone on for far too long and we can't be bothered to end, yes.
You know what we should do? We should make a new email address that is really simple and we just get everything forwarded from the old email address as well.
I would just
because it is just really stupid and cumbersome, we should change it.
We probably should. However, it is literally in the description of every single episode.
Which is why we set up forwarding.
True.
Duh.
True.
Jerk.
Anywho, so we have a few emails. There's
Yep.
some quick fire ones to start with. Robert
Okay.
has a quick game suggestion,
Okay, Rob.
aiming more towards me and Wib. It's
Oh.
a game called Sunless Skies.
I've heard of that.
I am familiar with it, yes, I have played it.
Yes, for those
Is
who are
that
not
the
aware, of
Lovecraftian
which I
one?
was one, it's a gothic horror roleplay game where the player assumes the role of a captain of an interplanetary locomotive.
Yes.
So you get to drive a train, but also gothic horror.
Yeah, which one did they say? Because there's multiple ones. Because there's like
Sunless.
Because Sunless Sea, Sunless Skies.
Yeah, they said Sunless Skies.
Because you've played Sunless Seas, haven't you?
Yeah, I played Sunless Seas actually. Yeah, thinking on it.
Okay.
It's part of the same series, and just
Yeah,
one of them you have a boat.
Okay, well, I mean, the train one's better, so... I haven't played either, and I know very little about either of them, but I assume the train one's better. Boats are cool, don't get me wrong,
But they're not a train.
but they're not a train.
Unless we can make a hybrid boat train.
That was him coming. Oh.
I don't know. It sounded
You
more
said,
like
you said like power word jizz.
I thought it was more like that thing where I'm about to be told that I'm wrong, but then actually he went, actually though.
I'm still going with power word jizz over here.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, next up, on a vaguely related note, Geistertans.
Hello.
They wrote in, I recently rode a miniature train, or in presumably German, Lilliputbahn. Not pronounced like that, but yeah.
That
with
is
my
a
daughter.
beautiful word. I love it.
It is an amazing word. And since you and Web are huge train fans, and you live in the UK, maybe this could be of interest to you. And then he linked the page of the Romney, Hythe and Dymchurch Railway, which is just a small scale railway somewhere down near Dover. And then ended the email with, "That's it, train, little train."
That's it, little train. Perfect. I mean, that is pandering in the most perfect way because he obviously knows exactly what
Yep.
you guys are interested in, and it's just like, hey, trains, and you're like, oh, shit, he's right.
You want to take a trip to Dover,
Yeah.
mate?
So if anyone lives near Dover and wants to check it out, wouldn't you allow to go places? Do it and let us know.
Yeah.
And the next quickfire one, Roderick emailed in just to say, you got yourselves a new podcast subscriber. Thanks for telling bigots to get fucked, which I thought was
Fuck
quite
yeah, dude.
appropriate.
Oh,
So,
yeah, no, perfect. Heck yeah. Happy to
That's
have
like-
you along.
Yeah, no, racist can
Yeah, no,
fuck off.
fuck him.
yeah.
Get
Okay.
their fucking unwashed asses elsewhere.
Yeah. Go drag those stinky butts elsewhere.
Okie dokie. Now some questions. First up, Ryan Warhart.
Hello. Good
So
name.
first off, because Snipe, you asked for 3 favourite dinos.
Yes.
So that they've listed their 3 favourite dinos.
Good, I want to hear.
So I'll go from 3 to 1. So
Okay.
at number 3 is a Spinosaurus.
Okay, they're pretty
Strong.
They're legit, yeah.
Number 2 is a Stegosaurus.
Another legit one.
Also a strong choice.
And number
Classic.
1 is an Allosaurus.
Oh, they're big. Yep, no, good one.
The Allosaurus often plays second fiddle to the T-Rex in the pop culture stakes, but a good dinosaur
A
nonetheless.
very good dinosaur, and bigger than a T-Rex actually.
Are they bigger? I always thought they were smaller, because weren't they like?
Oh, I might be thinking of Carnotaurs because those dinosaurs actually frighten me.
Because I think I might be wrong here, but my vague recollection of liking dinosaurs a lot as a kid. The Allosaurus was ones that were slightly smaller, but they were like ones that lived more communally. So
Give me one sec.
I think they might have been impacts. But yeah, no, Allosauruses are also cool. Are you looking up on the internet?
Oh no! Apparently T-Rexes were significantly larger. So yeah, I must be thinking of Carnotaurs. Which, yeah, those things had like little flappy, tiny baby arms that were really funny.
Oh, the ones with horns.
They're with horns.
That were
and they
the
are
main villains in the
scary.
Disney film that everyone forgets called Dinosaur.
I don't forget it. I just don't like it, and it's creepy because they all have like human faces, and it's like they wanted to do Land Before Time, but they also it was like
They
it
weren't
was
as
like
saggy as the Land Before
the
Time dinosaurs.
ants to the Bug's Life of Land Before Time.
I wish that comparison didn't make as much sense as it did. I'm upset by how much sense that makes.
See, whenever I make sense, people do seem to get really angry at me. So yeah,
It's very confusing.
yeah. But
Okay, so the questions from Ryan. When it comes to architecture in the 40k universe, do you think Imperial architects account for Space Marines when designing buildings?
I think that it probably doesn't come into it mainly because they make everything so grotesquely oversized anyway as a stylistic choice. I don't think they need to take into account Space Marines.
I think it would depend entirely on where you are. So I imagine
If you're on like, I don't know, some random planet with like you're wandering into like Wilkinson's, then like they probably would have to make the like doors higher for Space Marines to go in and buy affordable kitchenware.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just meant like
affordable
I just
kitchenware.
meant like, you know, like in the Emperor's Palace and shit, like everything.
Oh, everything's gonna be fucking
yeah,
huge,
everything.
yeah.
All the
All
doors
those
will be
fancy
unnecessarily
Imperial
large, so that Primarchs can get through them. So Space Marines haven't got a problem. But I imagine
They have they have like the big doors where it's like post-humans only, and then like the next like they have like a little cat flap with normal humans.
I do seem to remember there was an instance in a Horus Heresy book, and I can't remember.
Please tell me that was a cat flap for humans.
No.
Oh.
I can't remember which book it's in, so I don't remember which legion it was related to, so I don't know what planet it's on. But they go to, like, a building that does not cater for Marines, so, like, they have to, like, awkwardly duck
They
underneath.
hop into Argos.
But I don't remember the context, so I don't know if that was an Imperial world or something that was made before Marines existed, given the Horus Heresy time period.
I'm popping in to get some fucking
but yeah.
McDonald's hotcakes.
Yeah, so I personally do not believe they cater for it unless they are someone who a building that explicitly has to deal with Marines.
Whereas if it's like a bureau that has like a drive-through, you could just walk through with a Marine. It's like my whole like riding a Space Marine through the McDonald's drive-through. I mean, they'd have to, because that would be the most accessible.
For anyone who's not Australian, a bureau is a drive-in off-license.
Yeah. No, a bureau is just where you get your beer and alcohol from, and cigarettes.
I thought it was a drive-through one specifically.
Shit, now I don't know anymore. You're gaslighting
You
me.
told me it was.
I don't know if I
it was
did,
that,
but maybe I did. Maybe I'm just disagreeing with you because you're English and everything you say is wrong.
Yeah.
Historically, yes. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like,
That's kind of what I was going for.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, no, continue. What the fuck? Yeah, okay. Yeah, drama.
Next
What do you
question
think?
from Ryan. Oh, yeah, I mean, that seems legit. There's like so many people in the universe compared to Space Marines.
Yeah, there's like 1 million Space Marines, so and that's it.
Plus, I like it to picture them trying to get through really tiny, for them, doors. Which is
Yeah,
just
or like
hilarious.
little rotating ones
Yeah.
like they have in shopping centres. And they're just like,
Yeah, it's like shuffle.
It's like they want to go see the, like, you know, the 41st Star Wars, 41,000th Star Wars movie, where it's just honestly like historical reenactment at this point.
Well, it always has been. It was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
I'm gonna slap your nards. You know what I mean?
Are geese the first corn demons to invade from the warp?
Geese.
Geese.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
mean, they are very angry.
Yeah,
So,
and very screamy.
yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
okay with
that's legit.
Maybe goats as well.
Goats.
Goats.
Ghosts
No,
are screamy,
goats-
but they're not angry.
Yeah, and they're kind of like they're just silly. They're not very
Goats are
clever.
just kind of jerks.
Yeah, they're just jerks. They're not like... Whereas you look at a goose and you can see behind those glassy marble eyes the sheer lust for war and chaos and murder.
Okay, you've sold me. You've sold me on the idea.
Yeah, and they also go honk really loud.
They do.
Yeah.
Well, mostly they hiss.
Yeah, that fucking... Like, I don't like the cobra chickens. They're frightening. Scary.
Next question.
Nick, if you had to make a Primarch dating visual novel,
What do you mean,
What
if I
are-
had to? I'm doing it right now.
What archetype would you put each Primarch into? And I'm going to narrow it down by not saying each Primarch, because we'll be here for all day.
Yeah, like Lehman Russ would be the stupid jock with a heart of gold.
Yeah.
I just had an image in my head of Lorgar dressed up like a Mormon, and that's just what's in my head now, and I can't.
What? Okay.
I can't think of anything else.
I mean,
Is
sure.
that is Mormon one of the typical characters in
I guess
visual
it
novel
is now.
dating games?
Yeah, honestly, if I had a pound for every time one of my dating options was a Mormon, I'd have like no pounds. But no, and I think Vulcan would be like the really smart dude who was also like super down to earth and just friendly with everybody. Like the guy who's like, he's just like got...
Horus would be the popular kid.
He'd be the popular kid who's a bit of a jerk. And like...
Sanguinius would be the popular kid who's nice.
Yeah. And like... and fucking,
Okay.
Give me a sec. I had... And fucking Magnus. He would be the glasses up nose. Oh, I'm too good for everyone. I'm so clever. Nah. Dude.
Well, okay.
He'd be the edgy, like super, like hyper intelligent, snobby anime archetype.
What we really need to know
Because he basically is
who would be that game's Okasan. Okasan being a character from Hatterful Boyfriend,
who is just a fucking pigeon.
who is a pigeon and is weird
Yeah, and he only says cuckoo
and stomps on pudding.
and stomps on pudding. Which Primarch is the Okasan?
I mean, that could be a Sanguinius thing.
Because he is like a super himbo.
And he's just a bird.
And he is like a nice dude. So yeah, Sanguinius, and he's got the wings and everything. So yeah, he'd be Okasan.
Good.
The Emperor would be the headmaster. And he's just a shit headmaster for twats.
Yep.
Anyway.
Okay. A more serious second question. What advice would you have for people in relationships with mental health issues? So the backstory here is that they've recently fell in love with the most wonderful person and they want to help them out in any way they can.
Okay, well, I mean, to get really, like, serious, you've got to accept that you can't help. You can make them feel a little better every now and again, but it's like a broken leg, where, like, you can help them, like, go from place to place, like, occasionally or whatever, but it is an illness at the end of the day, and it is... All you can do is be understanding, and...
Have patience.
Yeah, patience is good, but also be aware that, you can't really help them. You can just be understanding and maybe go get them a brownie or something.
I guess a way of putting it would be because it's like... Because you can help, but you can't
help, but you can't
fix
cure.
them.
You can't fix them because it's an illness. It's not something that you can really fix. But yeah, and also, don't put your own emotions, don't suppress those. If your partner's having a bad day, just basically communicate and, don't keep those emotions bottled up that you're having, because that's just gonna poison your relationship and really fuck you up mentally as well, which is not good. But yeah, just be patient, communicate, and occasionally give them big hugs.
Yep,
I'd say that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's... I mean, I'd say that sounds to me like good advice anyway, especially considering where we jumped from the previous question.
Yes.
Yes.
Well done. Yeah, I think that sounds nice.
Yeah.
Nick also sent some dog pictures, which when
yeah.
I listen to this podcast after it's come out, it might remind me to put them on Twitter. So
Maybe.
Maybe.
Who
knows?
Not.
Who knows? Very last email. Gwenlyan.
Ever. That's the last email. They're going
ever.
off the internet after this.
Yep. Have any of us played the tabletop game Frostgrave?
No. It sounds
like-
cool.
No.
though.
It's like Mordheim, but with more wizards.
I haven't played Mordheim either.
Neither have I, but I really want to.
Because Mordheim's the Necromunda of fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. No. I have not played it.
No.
No, it sounds good. And I haven't written this bit down apparently in my notes, but the publisher is cool with people using like other models as like proxies, as long as people are playing the game, they kind of don't mind apparently.
That's really cool.
Which is quite nice.
Yeah.
I don't know if like the rules are then free or whether you have to like buy the game to get the rules. But yeah, I really want to play a Mordheimy type skirmishy game. And have like an ongoing campaign with it. Something I've wanted to do for like years and just never had the opportunity.
Because you're a butt face.
And then Wizards make most things better. I'm not going to say everything, but most things.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think there's a certain amount of Wizards that can generally be considered like an improvement of things.
Yeah. What's the collective noun for a wizard? Like a bunch of wizards?
An argument, I believe.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
If it's in Discworld, a murder.
Yeah. Yeah.
An attempted murder.
Attempted murder, fair, yeah.
An attempted murder of wizards.
Yeah. Which is
at
just
least
if
you're in the earlier stuff.
Yeah.
Before
all this murderous foaming at the mouth weirdos.
Before they're like, this whole idea where wizards are murdering each other all the time, it does mean that every time I introduce a wizard, I know I've only got them for one book because they're going to be dead by the next one.
Yeah.
Let's maybe make them
but
more consistent.
What? Props to Terry. He saw a weakness in his stories and he fixed it.
By making Ridcully, who basically was too annoying to kill.
Yeah.
Because what was it like? The problem is that he was someone who went to bed late, woke up early, and talked way too loudly. Because he was an outdoorsy person, and so none of these like bookish wizards could get the better of him because he was just bigger than all of them.
Yeah,
like
he
louder.
was the barrow wizard. Honestly, anytime I hear the name Ridcully, I think of a cutlet, and then I get hungry for cutlets.
I thought you said cutlass initially.
Oh, cutlass is in like the big curvy pirate sword.
Made of meat that you eat.
Made of meat that I eat.
Yeah.
Tasty.
All those meaty swords that you'd be eating.
I am a incredibly skilled meat sword eater. Oh my god, what did I say that for?
That was entirely on you.
Yeah.
You could just have not said anything then. But no. You chose to. That was the last question, wasn't it?
Very quick last 2 game recommendations, neither of which I have had chance to, because I ran out of time doing the questions. I have no idea what either of them are, but 2 video game recommendations. Space Cats in Space and What the Golf.
Okay.
I don't know what.
Okay.
I presume one's about cats in space and one's about golf, but beyond that, I have
think
no
the
idea,
first one's probably about golf, huh?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
In space or something.
A Space Cat's what it's called if you get like 3 holes under on a whole circuit.
Yeah, it is.
You get a space. You've done a Space Cat.
Yeah. And then that's also like a really cool term for someone who's from space. You're like, hey, Space Cat.
And also, if you get 3 Space Cats, then you score 1 golf.
You do.
Yeah, that's how you actually get a golf in golf.
Yeah, and then if you score, what is it? You have to score at least 40 golfs in an entire game, and then you basically get a home run and are allowed to pour Gatorade on your opponents.
Not many people get that, which is why you don't see it.
Yeah, it's very hard to
fun.
do. It's only Baby Ali.
Yes, Baby Ali.
Baby Ali, famous golf player. He famously said, "Float like a golf club, sting like a Gatorade." Very beautiful.
Because Gatorade stings a lot when you get it in your eyes.
It does.
Which is the whole point of the game.
Yeah, is getting Gatorade in your eyes.
I believe you managed to finally get that in the 1927 Golf World Cup.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was one of the early ones, because before they
it was
just,
really
they
early
just put,
Gatorade.
a bunch of
it was really early Gatorade as well, which is what the real problem was. Because
it was just syrup.
It was full of heroin.
It was literally it was black tar heroin.
Yeah, because all old versions of soft drinks contain Class A drugs.
Apparently, Coca-Cola was created by an old army veteran who got addicted to morphine and tried to recreate it and came up with Coke.
Okay, I've just got to quickly break character here. Are we still lying, or is this?
No, this is legit.
True?
No, this is apparently true. I haven't checked. Wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I think that's a good place to end it, isn't it?
End it
as
all.
good as any.
Yeah. Let's just fucking go. So, Send your questions to onlydramamat@snipeandweb@gmail.com, and you know what? I think I'm just gonna bully these gents into getting another one and setting up a mail rerouter or something.
Because and then join us here in 2 weeks' time, where we will have all forgotten about this.
You both will have forgotten about it. I won't have. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. I've been Snipe, he's been Wib, and he's been Matt. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.